Alright, so let's start off with inch steps. Inch steps are very nice because they're very useful for short, subtle range movement. Alright, short, subtle range movement. So what I mean by subtle is like this. So an inch step, you're not taking some massive jump like this, right? You're not jumping around having a party. You're taking around 3 to 4 inch bounces forwards or backwards, all right? And what this allows you to do is you can creep up on your opponent very subtly. Just one little inch step like this, it closes a little bit of distance, and you're able to get close to your opponent without them realizing. And similarly, going backwards, I guess not necessarily similarly, but it's also a really effective tool if they're attacking you, and you can take inch steps backwards very quickly like that. And what also makes inch steps very good is that you're off the ground for a very short amount of time, right? Because if you come off the ground, you're very liable to get hit and fall on your ass and get laughed at. So ideally, you stay on the ground and have a nice strong base so you're not able to fall. So with that said, let's practice a few inch steps, all right? So let's go into our guarding stance, all right, our fighting stance. And when we take our inch steps forward, just a few tiny bounces forward like that, and then backwards. Forwards, backwards, all right? Forwards, backwards. And obviously, because it's Taekwondo, we gotta work both sides. We have to make sure we switch our feet. Okay, so now we put our right leg forward and we do it again. Forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. All right, nice job everyone. Let's move on to Chunjin and Hoojin. Now Chunjin and Hoojin are the actual Korean terms for these movements. I guess an English translation is a skipping step or a hop step. What happens is, I'll do a profile so you can see me going this way. My back leg is gonna come to my front, and my front leg takes a step out like this, okay? So back to front, front steps out. That's called a chunjin, you're going forwards. One more time, back to front, front steps out, that's a chunjin. Hoojin is the reverse. The front comes to the back, and the back steps back, okay? So chunjin is forwards, Hoojin is backwards. All right, so now with a little bit closer up on my feet, let's do it together. Let's do a chunjin and a Hoojin. Chunjin, Hoojin. Chunjin, Hoojin. All right, and let's switch our feet. Chunjin, Hoojin, Chunjin, Hoojin, Chunjin, and Hoojin. One thing that's really important about the Chunjin and Hoojin is that you can cover a lot of ground very quickly, very good with distance management. So for say, we're really far apart, I can cover a lot of ground and get in close very quickly, okay? I can cover a lot of ground. I can also go backwards quickly, right? Cover a lot of ground. That's what's nice about the Chunjin and Hoojin. You can go long distances with this. However, you do have to be cautious because if you're caught with, let's say, a cut kick while your feet are together like this, you are going to be screwed because you have no balance here. So you just have to be cautious when you do these that you're not caught right in the middle. All right, now let's move on to the step. I'm pretty sure the Korean term is called an Ilgo Step, actually, or just an Ilgo, actually. There's a, forward Ilgo or reverse Ilgo. Anyways, a step is exactly what it sounds like. You literally step forwards or you step backwards. Now what's kind of nice about this is it will naturally change your stance. So depending on your strategy, depending on your opponent, maybe you do want to change your stance, right? Maybe you personally feel that you have a stronger right leg cut kick. So you can take a step forwards and then your right leg is there to be able to do cut kicks, right? Also, it's just another way that you can move backwards, right? If you're here, let's say you want to take a nice big step backwards. Those are some really good ways to use steps, okay? Technique-wise, when we're doing a step or an Ilgo, we want to make sure that when we step, we have the same width of our base as we did as when we left, okay? And this is for all footwork movements. We want to make sure we keep our nice strong base in order to keep our foundation, okay? So when we step forwards, same distance as when we step backwards, okay? So forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, and backwards. And make sure we switch our feet. Forwards, same distance, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, and backwards. Alright, so for our last movement, we are going to go over our stance or our feet switch. Now, oftentimes you can sometimes see people, like especially lower belts, when they do their stance switch, they jump up super high to switch their feet. Okay? And that's not what we want. We want to stay close to the ground, so when we switch our feet, when we switch our stance, it's quick. Okay? It's super quick. And the reason that you can switch your feet is obviously, like I was saying earlier with the steps, you're able to change it up, have a different foot in front, work it into your strategy, right? Also, you can add on a little feint. Like let's say you throw a little shoulder feint, right? You get them moving, you switch your feet. It's just another way to catch your opponent off guard, be unpredictable. And switching your feet is really important based on what you want to do with your strategy. So let's switch our feet a few times. So switch feet, switch feet, switch feet. Notice how I'm always bouncing too. Make sure you're bouncing on the balls of your feet. Switch feet, and switch feet. Nice. Well, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for coming to our first sparring video. Hopefully we're going to get up one a week for the rest of the semester, and hopefully I'll see you there.